How old were you when you became a millionaire?
32. It was actually in 2021. We had a huge year. That year we made $400,000 or $500,000 and got over that hump, and now just trying to grow on that.
What's been the best financial advice that you've received throughout your career?
Buy real estate. That's it.
But for someone who wants to get started buying property, they want to make their first move in real estate today, what would you tell them?
I tell them get your first property with an FHA loan. It's only going to be 3.5% down, and then house hack. So if you're in your 20s, you're just hanging out with your boys anyways, you live in one room, rent the other two ones out, collect all of that money, save it, don't waste it, don't spend it on cars or watches or anything, then buy your next property, move the whole crew, put a family in the previous home, and continue to keep doing that. And I say that because it's exactly what I did.
Excuse me, sir. Question for you.
Sure.
If you were to go back to when you were in either high school or college and you're having a conversation with your 20-year-old self, what is the best piece of advice that you would tell your younger self?
Well, if I'm 20 years old and I'm in high school, I would tell myself to get my shit together. Dumbass, you're 2 years late. If I was in college and I was 20 years old, stop chasing girls and drinking beer. Just because you make a bunch of money, don't go out and buy the Porsche with the whale tail and all that.
What was the most amount of money that you ever made in a single year?
It's in the 7 digits.
What industry did you ultimately pursue a career in?
Commercial real estate.
How can someone break into commercial real estate in today's world?
It's all relationship based. So if you're just starting out commercial real estate, you need to know every building. You need to be in the lobby of every building, figure out what's going on in there. Being busy creates opportunity. If somebody tells you no, don't take no for an answer.
How old are you now?
46.
How old were you when you became a millionaire?
34.
What was the best financial decision that you've made throughout your lifetime?
Buy real estate.
Buy real estate.
Yeah, that's it. And then ultimately you buy real estate, don't sell it unless you need the money or there's a better opportunity. If there's a better opportunity, use the tax code 1031 exchange to be able to defer your tax. And next thing you know, it's like playing Monopoly. 1 turns into 2, 2 turns into 4, and then you buy hotels.
What industry did you decide to pursue a career in?
I own a real estate brokerage.
Now, at your real estate brokerage, what's the most amount of money that you guys have sold in revenue in 1 year?
1.4 billion.
And what was the best financial advice that you've ever received throughout your lifetime?
You see me smiling because there's only one. Money is like shit. If you leave it in a pile, it stinks. And if you spread it around, things grow.
Give somebody the blueprint to becoming a real estate millionaire in today's world.
Have more real estate conversations than anybody else and build a good reputation. My dad always says it takes 20 years to build a good reputation and 5 minutes to kill it. At the end of the day, in real estate, there's really 3 things. You got to find a lead. You got to find the money, because if you don't have any money, you got to find people that can bring you money, and then the education to get the deal closed, or vendor partners like title companies and lending to be able to get it done. Something that I was taught in real estate was find starters, estate planners, and enders. Starters are guys that are getting started. Estate planners are people who have a basic portfolio, and enders are people who don't want to work anymore. They don't have the energy, but they have the asset base and the money to be able to help you out. And so with that information, if you go build a small network, then you got to go hustle and find the deal. Once you find the deal, one of my favorite sayings in real estate is the money will find the deal.
What industry did you decide to pursue a career in?
That's a microphone.
Yes, sir.
I was wondering, what are you going to do with that? What industry did I pursue?
Yeah.
Well, there's been a couple, but I've got 33 years as a firefighter for the city of Los Angeles.
That's incredible. Over those 33 years, what has been the most amount of money that you've ever made in a single year?
I don't know, 600,000?
600,000.
Yeah.
And that's as a firefighter? Or?
No, that's real estate.
That's for real estate?
Yeah.
How are you able to make 600,000 in 1 year? Like, how can someone start creating wealth in real estate today?
For a first-time home buyer, you should buy a property that's 4 units or less, as close to 4 units as you can get. You can't buy more than 4 units because it becomes commercial real estate. But if you buy 4 units and occupy one, 75% of your property is paying your mortgage. And that's how you do it. And you do it again and again and again. Do not bring in partners. You don't want a committee.
And what's been the best financial advice that you've ever received throughout your lifetime?
You'll never lose money taking a profit.
Break that down.
Well, let's take the stock market, for instance. I could have made an additional $100 a share on something, but I still made 10% on my money. But I didn't make 20% on my money. You'll never lose money taking a profit.
I appreciate
Take
you.
care.
You have amazing advice, sir.
Take care,
Seriously.
sir.
Now, you're also a business owner.
Oh man, I own a lot of businesses.
How many businesses do you own?
I have about 4 businesses right now that are doing 8 figures.
What is the blueprint to becoming a multimillionaire like yourself in today's world?
Yeah, get into real estate. Write this down. If you've never thought about doing it, you're just starting, look at the single tenant triple net lease game. All right, just look it up, start researching that, because that's a great business to be in. Wealthy people own a lot. It'd be like you owning the CVS building that CVS pharmacy or Walgreens or something is in, or a doctor's office is in. The bigger the deal, the easier it is to do. This is the big misconception. I used to think that, man, it's scary to do a big $5-10 million commercial deal, $50 million commercial deal. The reality is it's easier to do a $50 million commercial deal than a $1 million house flip. The financing's easier. The people involved are smarter. As long as you qualify and pass the checklist, they give you the money.
You scaled multiple 8-figure businesses. What was the number one thing that you implemented throughout your companies to take them from 7 to 8-figure businesses?
Yeah, simple. I fired myself. I got the hell out of the way. I am not the guy. Like, dude, when I was young, I was smoking weed, selling drugs. I wasn't that guy that was class valedictorian. You know, I'm street smarts. I'm not really book smart. Form this amazing team and get the hell out of the way. Money loves speed. Cut the check.
What is one lesson about business that you would teach to somebody that they will not learn in school?
It's not going to happen on your time frame. It's much more difficult than you think. And if you're a mental pussy, it's not for you. Bow out now.
What has been the most amount of money that you've ever made in a single year?
1.2 million.
Have you ever been broke before?
Oh, definitely. A few times. Being broke happens, but staying broke is definitely a choice.
What was the best financial decision that you've ever made throughout your lifetime?
I started investing in real estate.
And how old were you when you became a millionaire?
29.
How can someone become a real estate millionaire in today's world?
Listen closely, here's the secret. Nobody's talking about this. In the US, whenever you own a property, you have to pay your property taxes. When you don't pay those property taxes, the county's gonna take that property and sell it at an auction. I've been going into these auctions, literally getting houses for less than $3,000, and I've been flipping those properties, making anywhere from $10,000 all the way up to $30,000 per transactions. So a lot of people aren't talking about this, and every state has some form of tax sale.
What's the biggest risk that you took throughout your career?
Getting out the matrix, quitting my 9 to 5, and really taking a chance on myself.
What is the most common mistake that people make with their money that keeps them broke?
Most people want to hold on to money. When you get to that next level, you actually want to keep sending out money as much as possible, understanding that you have to have the assets. The money itself is a liability. We need to put it into things that are actually going to continue to make us money. That's where the wealth is.
How old are you now?
44.
What has been the most amount of money that you've ever made in a single year?
Over $100 million in a year.
Over $100 million.
Yeah.
And that's for the business?
Well, I own the business, and so those are S-corp returns that hit my personal balance sheet.
Now, as a 9-figure entrepreneur, what's been the best financial advice that you've ever received throughout your lifetime?
Yeah, I hate using these numbers, but I'll use real numbers. I had a mentor named Tom Shannon. He was one of the founders of Outback Steakhouse in Tampa. I used to bitch and cry and everything about commercial flights. I was on the 7 a.m. flight to New York from Atlanta every Monday morning, and I'd be in a suit and tie. I'd feel like $1 million, and they'd make me strip down at security, and I hated it. They had bad attitudes, all this stuff, and so I wanted to buy a plane. And he made me have $30 million saved in muni bonds because I had 3 kids, $10 million a kid, before I could start flying private. But I didn't spend the money before I had it. I see guys that have one good year and go out and buy all this crap. I wouldn't be pissing away money.
Have you ever been broke before?
Hell yes. And I wake up every morning and I feel broke. If you've never felt broke before, you don't have a healthy enough fear. It's like a guy that thinks he's a tough guy that's never had his ass kicked.
What industry did you decide to pursue a career in?
I pursued real estate.
But if you were to go back over 20 years ago when you were first starting out in real estate, what's the number one thing that you would tell yourself?
Access to capital. Like, I learned how to raise billions of dollars, all self-taught. Didn't go to college. Most of the people I compete with went to Harvard or some Ivy League school. But if you learn to finance hundreds of millions of dollars of real estate versus trying to do everything with your own money or whatever, it just fast forwards the process.